This is the EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast guide to creating your third act with style, power, and impact. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Join us as we bring you conversations with successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and people with vision who are making a difference in the world.
Everyone has a story, and we'll take you along for the ride on each interview, recounting the journey our guests have taken to get where they are, inspiring you to create your own path to success. Let's get started. Hello, I'm Kathy Worthington. Welcome to Late Boomers. Today we have as our special guest, Fari Gonzaque, who is a relationship and transformational coach with 3 decades of experience helping her clients to turn their challenges into empowering gifts and unlock their full potential.
And I'm Mary Elkins, using advanced techniques of fitness, yoga, and meditation to bring mind, body, and spirit into harmonic balance. Fari specializes in guiding those dealing with trauma, imposter syndrome, and self-hatred to find peace, clarity, and self-love. She's also the author of the chapter, Replace the Old Burden with the New Version of You, in the book, Unstoppable, Female Entrepreneurs Living Fearlessly. Welcome, Fari.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. What a lovely introduction. Is that all me?
Yeah, it's all you.
Great to have you.
Well, thank you. It's lovely to be here with you ladies.
Fari, please tell
Thanks.
us about your background and how your experience led you to your calling and profession.
My background, I was born and raised in Iran. And I left Iran at the age of the minute I turned 21. And I always emphasize on that because I wanted to leave before, and I had to wait on that age so I don't have to have the parents' permission to have my passports issued. So once I turned 21, the passport was sent and then it got issued a few months later. And there I was off to England, and a very tough upbringing in the home environment. And it was at the age of, I think, 16 or 17 that I said I would leave Iran because I want to become who I want to become, not who my parents decided for me to be. And that's why I left Iran and I went to England.
What did they want you to be?
They wanted me specifically, my father wanted me to finish high school, go to university, get a PhD, be either a lawyer or a doctor, then get married, then have kids. And for me, I always had that rebellion personality in me that I don't want to study to become who you want me to become. I want to become my own woman. I want to, is there any word for it in English to say, I want to be a man-made, but woman-made, And it's not what my desire was. I did not want to finish school, but I had to finish high school. And
But when you got to England, then did you find the calling that you do now, the profession you do now?
No, not right away. I mean, exactly what I wrote about in the book is that I thought my happiness is that to leave Iran. And when I go to England, not that I wanted to stay in England, by the way, I went to England to kind of like con my family that I'm going with my cousin to London. And then I'm going to be just visiting and come back. I knew I was going to London to go to the American embassy and apply for a visa and then come to America. And that's what my plan was. But I thought if I leave Iran, I'm going to have everything is made up there and it's heaven and everything is going to be glory. And little did I know, it was the onset of the disaster and problems in life because being an Iranian young girl, and then the minute I left Iran, I think I left 1978 August, and in September, the the curfew and the martial law and all that started in Iran. And I said, what is that? What's going on? I never saw any of it, because in Iran, we were raised exactly like you and I are here today. Nobody ever,
Hmm.
I was never covered. It was not mandatory. Exactly what you do here today, we did in Iran. We drank alcohol. There was no men and women. We wore bathing suits. And there was no women, nothing, not a thing. And
So you got out just in time before the revolution.
just before, yeah, I never
Yeah.
saw anything of it. I actually didn't run away from the Iranian government. I ran away from so-called my parents
Mm,
and
Hmm. Hmm.
one of my brothers. Basically, it was like a tough
mm.
boy in the house, and I
Hmm.
wanted not to be part of it.
So when
And
you came here, did
mhm,
you well, with being from Iran, how hard
mhm.
was it to come was it for you to come to the West, and how did you adjust, and did you find your calling then?
Going to England was not a problem. We didn't have to have visa to go to England. That's why I went to England. But I
Hmm.
wanted to get visa from England to come to America. And they soon the mess started and the revolution started, and then they took the hostages, the American hostages. I don't know
Um,
if you guys are um, as old as I am to remember all of that, but and this was 40 of coming up to 45 years ago. That was 1979, I think they took the hostages. But the
yeah.
Hmm.
revolution started September of 1978, and I
Mm.
left August of 78.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the Shah of Iran left January 79, and round about then it was when they took the hostages. But the American embassy had already closed the door for anybody wanting to get a visa to go to England, to America. So I got stuck in England for the next 14 years.
Mm.
Oh, long
And
time.
Whoa.
that was, yeah, that was that's knowing that not only I don't have a home at that time being called Iran, I have no way of going back. Not that I wanted to go back at all, but my being out, the reason of being out in England, then it smoothened the pathway for the rest of my sisters and brothers and all of that to come out.
And they
Oh,
did.
good.
And they came throughout. Yeah, it's not like immediately. It took a while for them all to
Mm.
come out, but yes,
And then when
slowly.
you got to the USA, was that another big, very big adjustment?
Um, it was a big adjustment to be in England, but it was catastrophic to come to America. I didn't have as much animosity against me in England, except one time that have you heard the terms skinheads? Do you know who they are?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Not sure.
I was like 20, I want to say maybe 22, 23, something like this. I had zillions amount of a long to my waistline hair, like 5 times more than I have now. And one morning it was raining, and I was walking to work, and then I felt this. I left the house thinking, is the rain stopped? So I didn't
Mm.
have the umbrella. I don't think I had, or did I have umbrella? I don't remember. But I just know that I was walking, and then I felt like this, like a crick broke in my head. And then I'm wet, and the skinheads were upstairs, and they poured a bucket of green color paint on me.
Oh.
And they said, go home, go back to your country. And you can imagine young 22-year-old girl, 23-year-old girl,
Yeah.
and I just had to walk like a statue because everything stuck to me.
Mm.
Walk to everyone was looking at me, and I walked to the place where I was working, and they all saw me like, what happened? It was a Greek shop that they were selling jeans and denims, and they were brilliant. I was the only girl, and they were all Greek guys, one after the other one, brilliant souls. And they all sat me down, that took my clothes off, and one of them started shaving my hair, like to the scalp. They had to
Oh
shave.
no. Oh
So that
no.
was the one thing that I never forgot. And that's the only one really bad thing that happened in England. But in America, oh my God, It was like, who's this snake here? It was like really, really bad. And it was one after the other one. And the more they told me, go home, you're too dark, your accent is too thick, all of that animosity that came more towards me, the more I was sad, I was depressed, I was frustrated for it. I'm not going to lie. But one of the things that really kept me going and my sanity was my spirituality. I never believed in any religion, but I was always, to this minute, I believe in God massively. And my working out. That was
Mm-hmm.
why to work out for me was being in a church.
Well,
So
you have also said that past challenges are life's lessons. So,
100,
how do you use past challenges and trauma to your client's benefit? And can you give us some examples for that?
absolutely. If I didn't go through all that agony that went through life, which literally gave me the diseases called fibromyalgia. I was 20,
Oh,
7 or 8 in England, that I got diagnosed with it, but I didn't care about it. I just said, okay, whatever, my body hurts. So what,
Mm-hmm.
And I was swimming and I was jogging and I was doing whatever, tennis, 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 day in, day out, in rain, in shine, in no matter what. I was playing tennis, squash, more tennis, squash, and then, swimming. The drug of choice for me, people go to alcohol, they go to heroin, mine was fitness. And um, one of the things that I just say, how grateful I am that my father was so hard on me, so tough on me. Um, and I've always, for the longest time in my life, maybe for the first 60 years of my life, I kept on blaming my dad that, oh, shame on you. Why did he beat me up so hard when I was 16 and
he
17
beat you
years
up?
old? And, oh my God, he slapped me like left and right one day. And my father was a very powerful guy, and nobody would dare to say no to him,
Mm.
ever. Nobody would say no to him. He was a very strong, powerful man. And I think that day I must have said no to him to trigger him. And he caught me at the corner of, it was a hangers that we had a wall like this, and it was all walnut wood, and he had hangers on it. He caught me in between it, and he started slapping me left and right, and not once, not 3 times, not 5 times. And he kept on going, and I said, "Okay, hit me as much as you want." And I stood up there, and it hit me so hard that I said, "Oh my God, my neck is falling off." And then I screamed. My parents' house was humongous. My mom ran to hear what's the scream, and she saw my dad, and my dad was a big, big built of a strong man, and my mom pushed him against the wall, and then it goes, "This is your spam. I didn't find her in the street," and he said, "I brought her to this world. I'll take her out of this world. She can never say no to me." And
Huh. You think that caused
so
your fibromyalgia?
absolutely, my
Mm-hmm.
upbringing was not just mine,
Mm-hmm.
all of us, sisters and brothers. It was like such a tough upbringing. But then I thought I'm running away from that and I'm going to England and I'm going to have a brilliant everything. Far from it. And it got even worse because of the circumstances with Iran.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't easy. I wasn't speaking a word of English. I didn't know many people. I was an au pair. Do you know what au pair is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was an au pair in this
Yeah.
Scottish lady with a Pakistani husband. And that was pretty much of a challenge to be in that house, but I had to be because I had nowhere to go. I had no money. I left Iran with 400 British pounds in my pocket. And my dad said, I will not give you a dime
Mm.
if you go and
Mm-hmm.
you want to ask money. I was like,
Well,
okay.
how do you use those traumas to your client's benefit?
So when somebody comes like me with an abusive parents, and I've had
Mm-hmm.
many of them throughout the years, many of them, and they want to do the same as what I did for years, to put them in shame, shame on you, mother, shame on you, father, for doing this. And I'm just saying, okay, what I did was I needed to find out what I learned from that. I learned Number one, we always look at the negativity, but we don't look at like what positive thing my father had. My father was a hard working man. I became a very hard working woman to this day. My father was very much of people person. I love people. I can't deal without people. If we go a couple of weeks, I mean, we socialize here a lot, but a couple of weeks, if I don't see people, I tell my husband, we're having a dinner party. I invite people over. I love to love. I love to give. My father was the most generous, my mom too, both the most generous people you can find on this planet Earth. And I got their generosity. I got
That's
their love
good.
for people. My father was an athlete of his own time. His genes in me gave me the most fabulous life in America, in LA, when the competition was so high as a fitness trainer. And I became a very successful fitness trainer, making six-figure year after year for the longest time. And these are the benefits that my father had. And I chose to ignore them, but stick to it that my father was tough. How about
Yeah.
if I turn that around and I see all that many, many gifts that it was from them and I didn't
Good.
appreciate it. And that's what I do with my clients. When it says the other one says my client, my father did this, my mother did that, one of my clients said the mother slept with her husband, and I said, my question was, for as long as she's kept on to this subject, my mother slept with my husband. How has that served her? What has she gotten out of it?
Really? For
Number
sure.
one, it takes two to tango. Where is the husband? Why just sticking to what the mother said? Not that for a minute is okay what the mother did,
Right.
but let's look at it in a different angle. And one of the things that I learned from a very famous, beautiful, I love this woman. Thank God she's still around and she just turned 81. Her name is Byron Katie. And I always say, okay, your mother slept with your husband. Is it true? And then she goes, yes, it's true. And I said, and where do you feel it in your body? Here, there. And how has that served you? What else can you change this with? This burden on your shoulder. What if you put it in this big, massive bag and throw it away? And you don't have to. You can keep on your shoulder and suffer. Which one feels better?
Well, do you give them specific exercises, both physical and emotional? And can you give us a few pointers as to what you tell them to do?
Absolutely. I'm married to fitness. I love fitness. If somebody likes to kick, I suggest them to go and kick and punch because I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. If somebody wants to mellow out, we mellow out and we sit and we focused on breathing. But at the midst of the breathing, sometimes I sneak in because mostly people are on Zoom. Okay, put the camera on. Let's walk. I want to see you breathing, stepping to your breath, and you're walking back and forth, side and side, lounging, do this, that. Lie down on the ground, put your feet up, not on the wall, on your body. Just put your legs up,
What does
And
that do?
that's hard. They can't do it. They can't lie down and have their legs straight up. They can't do it. They can do it with one leg at a time. Now, Mary, you and I are yoga junkies. So you can smile at that. That what you mean you can't put your legs up. But find a person who's never done yoga, but they're into fitness. They just didn't do yoga. Get them lie down on the ground and say, can you give me 90-degree angle? Put your feet up and put the timer on, say, hold it for 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
15 minutes?
3.
3.
1, 2,
3.
3.
Oh,
15.
No, 15. You and I.
I was thinking 15 might get a little boring, but
It would be
3.
3.
very
1,
difficult.
3 minutes. 3 single minutes. and people
And
can't do it.
breathe.
And be aware of yourself. Won't be. It's not possible. They don't do it. They've not done it unless they are massively into yoga, and even that 3 minutes is too much for them.
Mhm.
So try to do that with someone who's really, really anxious and worried and frustrated, and anxiety is killing them. And you put that on him, it's like you pour cold water on him. It's just like dissipates.
Do you think it would help
Mm.
with someone who has like ADHD? They just said half of America had ADHD. I just
That's
read
me.
that. You
That's
do? Oh, so does it help?
ADHD and dyslexia.
Ah,
Absolutely. Yes.
how did you conquer that?
I don't know if I've conquered it, but I've learned to live with it when it gets to its worst. And because I work out on daily basis, you know, I read this thing on a heroin addict that like every 24 hours, like at 10 o'clock, that is due at about quarter of 10, they start getting that tremor and they get the nervousness that it's time for it to get it. I've never been an addict to any of the drugs, but I just read about it. That's what it does. And 1000% that resonates with me. When
I
I
wanted
walk
to ask you,
Mhm.
how do you deal with addictions when you have clients with addictions?
Well, I'm addicted myself. I'm addicted to my workout.
Ah,
We all are
so
addicted. It's very easy to say, oh, you're a bad person because you're addicted to drugs, to alcohol, to cigarette, to gamble. But we don't see, if we look at our own lifestyles, we're all addicted in different ways.
Hmm.
mm,
I am addicted to work out, and I confess that. I cannot live without a day going through without it takes about every 2 or 3 weeks, I take a day off.
mhm,
But I take a day off because I see that I'm absolutely depleted of energy, and I need that
Mm,
day hug my knees and do nothing.
yeah. Take a
That
hot
mm,
will
bath.
restore me. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I didn't work out yesterday because the night before it, I was at the sleep apnea place for them to test me, and it's very uncomfortable to sleep somewhere else. And this other person next door to me was coughing their brain out, and they put so many things on your ears and nose and everything. It's hard to sleep. And then 5 o'clock in the morning, I was up, I put my clothes on and I left, you know. So yesterday, I was a zombie. I mean, I looked left and right and I thought to reach for a cup to just make tea in it, it was too much work. That's when I know I need not to do anything. And I didn't.
mhm,
And today, I promise you, after you guys, the minute I'm done, I'm running to the gym 10 minutes to warm up and do weights, and I'm on the pickleball court. Because
mhm.
today will
Okay.
not get to the end of the day. That's the addiction that I need to
Mm,
get into
mhm,
it. And somebody else is addicted to their makeup, to their hair color.
What
mm.
about people who come to you to try to get over, say, drugs or alcohol? How do you advise them the same way? Do you tell them to work out? Um,
The drugs and alcohol, if it's that intense that they must finish like 2 bottles of wine, or what one of them was saying, he can finish a bottle of Bombay Sapphire gin, and the big one, and then he goes, those fast need a supervision of medical, and then
Mhm.
we come in the picture like 30 days later. They have
Ah,
to have that because I am not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not um, at all qualified to deal with someone that has that massive problem. So we coaches, we come as a help to the therapist and the psychiatrist and all that
mm,
to help them on that. It will be most unfair for me to say, oh yeah, you can go and walk and run and sweat and all that, and you would be all by yourself to get off unless they have God's power that they want to do it, and it's on them. But I wouldn't take a chance of wanting for them to do it all on go cold turkey. And suddenly, if they're drinking 2 bottles a day and go to like none, and then if they pass out, something goes wrong with them,
Mm.
I'll be responsible. I wouldn't do that. I will be
Mhm.
coming into it when they have that help. But if it's not that severe, I've had many of them. She's actually a psychologist herself, and she lives in LA. And back and forth, in and out, she's had problem with alcohol. And at this point, it's no point saying don't drink alcohol. At this
Yeah.
point, I
Mm-hmm.
said to her, when you want to drink alcohol, make sure you drink after you've come home from your workout.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
When you
Yeah.
say you
Yeah.
want to drink it, make sure you've done your workout and come home and you drink it. And then gradually, when she does that and she comes home, she actually doesn't have the desire to drink so much.
Mm.
So instead of
Mm-hmm.
saying, no, don't drink it, I have to provide ways that when they do it, and if they listen to me before and they do that, then it just gives them less desire to want to have 3 and 4 glasses in 1 hour and have maybe 2 glasses. And then
Mm.
gradually you help them to bring
Mm.
it down.
Yeah. On a less physical thing, do you have advice on steps that people could take to gain a deeper understanding of themselves
Yeah, it's
so
the
they figure
breathing.
out what they really want from their
Hmm.
lives?
Right, absolutely. It's a lot through breathing techniques, breathing and
Ah.
journaling, breathing and journaling. It's so important. If you see the wall in front of me, it's all handwritten that I had. Being ADHD, writing is not my best asset. It's
Mm-hmm.
very hard for me to write. I am making myself really, really pushing myself to write. And when I see I can't write it, I talk to my phone and then
Mm-hmm.
it's printed and then I put it on the wall and I keep on reading it. Or God bless whoever who created Audible because I keep on listening to it.
Yeah.
And it's just for my brain is as good and well received as is if I'm reading it. So people need to read, to write, stay with their breath, count their breath, all that movements. And it comes different with a different person. Do it this morning for 2 minutes. I want 3 minutes in the afternoon. I want you to give me a report. You did this and that. I want you to tell me if you write your thoughts in that moment, especially late bloomers now when they have their kids are gone and either the husband or the wife left them or they passed away or there is something happening and they feel really empty and they don't feel they belong to anywhere. It's the time that they need to be creative of how to make their own social life.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we came here, we didn't know a soul here. And
Mhm.
once we
Mm-hmm.
started doing the pickleball, and it was just the pickleball, I said, okay, how do I make that happen too? How do I create my environment? I started inviting the few of those people in our home for dinner, cooked meal.
Mm-hmm.
They come, they enjoy, they start socializing. They call you the next day, let's do this and that and that. And I invited them again and again, let's go here, let's do this, and
Mm-hmm.
within less than a year, we have at least maybe, I want to say 50 people around us,
Mm. Mm.
and we're not
Yeah.
done yet. So
Very
That's
it's
great.
positive.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
great.
what you do that you create. If some of them are into knitting, if like one of my clients, actually that happened, I was with her on the Zoom, and then I saw a ball of yarns on her left side, and I said, "Hey Jill, what is that?" And then she goes, "It's a yarn. I got it, but I don't know where to go, and I'm too shy, and I can't use this. I don't know where to go." And I said, "Okay, let's Google it." So I know where she lives in LA, and I Googled it, closest places that you can knit, and this and that. I figured it out, and I said, "That's it. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, they have the class." "Oh, I have to go to here." And I said, "Friday, they have the class, this and that." And I pushed her. I said, "I want you to be on the phone with me. Tell me you're walking into the class." You
Mm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Great.
later on, I saw that she made that yarn into a little vest for her dog. going to that group. Do you know? So it's just like things
Excellent.
like this that I make people. Do you like to draw a line? Okay, let's draw a line. Let's do a sketch. Let's do a paint. Let's do this and that. And it's wonderful sometimes to just cook, write.
Ah, right.
Creativity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Let's go to your closet. Let's empty the closet. Let's give away things that you haven't
Organized.
worn. Yeah. You haven't worn it for a year, you haven't used it for a year. And all
Yeah.
that making space, emptying all that clutter is another way of engaging people in to see how much that clutter comes from their head. That
Ah.
it's now sitting in their closet and then in the bedroom and then in the sitting room and the kitchen, you know.
Well, on kind of a like note, but not really, I'm curious, what advice do you have for people in order to strengthen their relationships where both parties come from trauma or negative experiences?
Speak about it. Tell each other. Write to each other about it. Give
Mm.
it each other time so you both can talk. My husband and I both are coming from traumas, both of us, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and having ears to hear each other's problems and not pressing on those sore points. And how can we be a kind of a healer in each other's life as a support when it comes to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
my
Very good.
ex-husband in London was quite of the opposite to that. Like when he knew I had things that it was traumatizing me, he would talk about it in a very sarcastic way. But that was my problem. That was my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any better. I
Mm.
didn't know how to stop him. I didn't know, not even stop. I changed that. I didn't know how to address it to him to say what he does is painful to me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
So
what
what
you
do
would
I
have
do?
said?
My clothes will come out and then I'll be attacking
Yeah.
to him.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, what would you have said to him?
I would have said, do you realize this is a very sensitive subject to me? I would appreciate if you show me your gratitude and your appreciation in this.
Mhm.
You are my
Mm-hmm.
husband and I want to love you and help me love you.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Don't help me hate you.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can relate
And if
to.
you keep on saying that, you know, sadly, we think divorce or fight is the solution, is the answer to another catastrophe, if not more. I got divorced right before I turned 30. I was 29 years old. But if I knew better, I would have dealt with it better. That even if I got divorced, but it wouldn't be an ugly divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
Well,
Even though I was trying to be friends with him whilst we were going through the divorce, but it wouldn't work for him.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know how this fits into your timeline, but we know that you've struggled with weight issues.
Oh
So
yeah.
what did you do to regain your health and lose weight?
So I growing up being so uncomfortable and be so, oh my God, we got the cat in now.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Why am
He's a
I
giant boy.
insane?
Oh,
I feel like a little bobcat.
he
Yeah,
does.
he is like a bobcat.
He is. He weighs what,
Only has
23
a big tail.
pounds?
How much?
I think he weighs about 26, 27 pounds. Yeah, I
Wow.
can't lift him up. I mean, I'm lifting him now, but he's on my lap. So
Dear Lord.
anyway, tell us about
So
your
I
weight
was
issues.
being so
That's a different
heavy.
thing.
And yeah, when I left Iran, I'm barely 5'5", so I'm 5'4 3/4", whatever that is. And I weighed 205 pounds when I
Oh,
went to England. And in
Oh.
England, they call that, it's a stones, there's not pounds. Every
right.
Mm-hmm.
7 pounds in a stone. I don't remember how many stones I was, but I remember when I went in and then I saw my Scottish landlady, her eyes went like sky. What? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and the way to lose the weight for me was, she goes, "Do you want to lose weight?" And I said, "Absolutely." And she said, "I'll help you. I won't let you eat rubbish. I don't let you eat bread, this, that." And I said, "No problem." And because I was in England now, I could go and run and jog and swim and do whatever every early in the morning. Being an au pair, I had to be in the kitchen with the two little kids at about 7:30, 8 a.m. So I'd be up pitch dark, black dark at 6 a.m. out and, running in the parks. And it was like so quiet. Sometimes the doors were even closed, the gates for the parks, until later, around about 7, they opened it at those days. I don't know what it is now. But then I'd be running on the streets, and I did everything in the morning. And then again in the afternoon when I was off shift, I would be doing that. So, and I lost first 50 pounds in 9 months, uh,
Oh.
with
Mhm.
her giving me very small amount of food, and I was starving. So when she'd go to
Oh.
bed at night, then I will go and grab apples and things like this to eat, or I would shop food and then I would come and hide it in my room so she doesn't see it. But it was like what I bought, it was apples and cheese and bananas, not sugar and all that, not
Mhm.
cookies and
Mhm.
candies. So I lost the first
Good for you.
50 pounds
Yeah.
there. Thank you. And that was a big thing.
Discipline.
I've really been, one thing is just that, like, if I want it, I go get it. And that's another
Mhm.
thing that I teach everyone. Commitment, commitment, commitment. You
Mhm.
Ah.
be committed to anything. When they asked me, they said, "What are you committed to?" I said, "Absolutely nothing. I am not committed to a damn thing. I am the commitment."
Great.
Mm,
Love
mm.
it. Love that answer.
Yeah.
Always been
Yeah.
a big flashlight in my life, that I am the commitment. I don't need anyone to watch me. I am
I
watching.
love that. Well, tell us a little bit about the chapter you wrote in the book, Unstoppable Female Entrepreneurs Living
All of these
Fearlessly.
actually, on Tuesday morning is the launching for it. I'd be happy to send you the link. And the book is, I think it's going to be sold for 99 days that day. And 99 cents is going to be sold that day on
Oh.
Tuesday. And it already got a number one bestseller without
Mm.
even being out, because it's all over the world, and it's really interesting, and I'm shocked for it. So that's basically, talk is all about what I just said, in that nothing
Mhm.
can stop me as long as God doesn't stop me.
Ah,
You know,
great.
Excellent. What would you like our audience to have as a takeaway today, Fari?
life is all about the choices we make.
Ah.
Every bit of it, life is about the choice. Choose wisely.
Oh, I love that.
Thank
That's
you. And
so true.
when
Thank
people come and they suffer from being rejected, you know, and, "Oh no, they rejected me, they dumped me, and I said, rejection is redirection.
Ah,
Mhm.
I've never
Rejection
heard it that way.
is in ways, rejection is, in a very mysterious way, is protection.
Mhm.
So if you
Mm.
were going to be not rejected and go down to hell, once you got rejected, is protecting you from a
Mhm.
further catastrophe. It's a redirection. Move somewhere else. Don't stop.
Mhm.
That's why
That's
no.
I love that advice.
Thank
I
you.
love that advice. Thank you, Fari.
Thank you. That's why I say I never take a no as an answer. When they say no, say yes.
Mhm.
That's perfect. Thank you. Our guest today on Late Boomers has been Fari Gonzaque, our author and transformational coach. You can reach Fari at faritransformation.com, and she has a link tree that will take you to all of her social media. Is there any other place where we can direct our audience to you?
TikTok? Believe it or not, I'm on TikTok, and
Mm.
but I think my link tree actually covers it all. Is Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, in my website that is there. But I'd be more than happy to send you the link for my launching day, and which is on Tuesday, the 16th.
Excellent. And we so much appreciate our listeners. And we ask you all to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Late Boomers Podcast, and also subscribe on the platform where you listen to your podcasts. We love your support, and we always like to hear from you, either on Instagram at I am Kathy Worthington, or at I am Mary Elkins, and at Late Boomers, or on our website, lateboomers.biz. Our goal is always to energize and inspire you. Thanks again, Fari.
Thank you so much for having me. Blessings to both of you.
Thank you for joining us on Late Boomers, the podcast that is your guide to creating a third act with style, power, and impact. Please visit our website and get in touch with us at lateboomers.biz. If you would like to listen to or download other episodes of Late Boomers, go to ewnpodcastnetwork.com.
This podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most other major podcast sites. We hope you make use of the wisdom you've gained here and that you enjoy a successful third act with your own style, power, and impact.